So on a national level, for every one child in foster care with relatives, there are 19 children being raised by grandparents or other relatives outside of the foster care system. So if you really stop and think about that for just a minute, like it's kind of amazing to think that for every one child in foster care, there is 9 children being raised by grandparents or relatives. So it's just amazing to me to hear that. So in New Mexico, 10.9% of grandparents are raising their grandchildren. So that's just some statistics, some facts of what we found as far as how many grandparents are raising their grandchildren in New Mexico. So this lack of parental involvement in New Mexican families was associated with substance abuse, incarceration, divorce, mental health diagnosis, domestic violence, and military deployment. Kinship guardians is the preferred option for placement. That is something that's been known for a long time, that it's just preferred for kids to be with any relative member. And so some of the advantages of kinship guardianship is it minimizes trauma for the kids. It improves children well-being. It increases permanency for children, just some stability in their lives. It improves behavioral and mental health outcomes. It promotes sibling ties. A lot of the times, you know, if a family or if the child goes into foster care, the siblings are separated because there's not one family that is able to take care of all the siblings. So one of the things that we've seen with a lot of our relatives that are taking care of the children, they take on the whole group of siblings. I mean, they don't just take one of the kids, they take all of them. So it just really promotes that sibling ties and connects them. It provides a bridge for older youth. That's another big one, you know, especially in foster care, it's known that the youth age out of the system. And so it's really nice to hear when grandparents, when relatives are able to take care of their grandchildren, their relatives, and they sometimes take care of them even after they become adults. So that's really, really, really nice to hear. And then it also preserves children's cultural identity and community connections. So those are just some of the advantages that a kinship guardian can provide to the children. Some of the barriers are the legal status. So this is one of the most common ones that we see a lot of the times. Where our relatives, our grandparents don't have any legal documentation to provide, and that leads to like health and mental services. So if you're trying to seek any kind of mental health services, or even school, like enroll them in school, a lot of our relatives and grandparents are having a really hard time enrolling them because they don't actually have proof of legal documentation, whether it's you know, the legal guardianship paperwork or just a power of attorney. You know, they don't have anything, so it makes it really difficult for them to identify the services, and not only identify but provide those services to the children that they're caring for, or for the children that you guys are caring for in that case. Financial support, that's a big one too. A lot of, you know, our relatives and grandparents, as you guys know, that you guys don't receive any financial support. And that makes it really difficult for you guys to really take care of your grandkids and your relatives, because, you know, you're living off of a fixed income. A lot of you guys are retired and don't have the means to be able to provide to a lot of the children that you're caring for. So it makes it really difficult. The family relationships, we see that too, or the child behavior, sorry, I skipped that one, but child behaviors, you know, like I said, if you don't have any of the legal paperwork, you're not able to receive the mental health services or any kind of behavioral intervention for the kids in order to help them and meet their needs. So that makes it very difficult for families. Family relationships, it kind of puts like a strain between you and your family members, especially the biological parents, and, you know, just all of your family sometimes when you take on that responsibility of taking care of the children. So that's another big one. And then support services. that's another one that's not very available to you guys. It's not an option for many of the families. Fair and equal treatment and satisfaction and recommendation. So those are just some of the barriers for kinship guardians. Some of the clinical issues caregivers face is loss, redefining roles and boundaries, guilt and embarrassment, transference and projection, split and dual loyalties, anger and resentment, child rearing practices and responsibilities, overcompensation and competition, morbidity and mortality, fantasies, and redefining relationships. And as I was reading this, I actually, during our last training period that we had different trainings, and these trainings are all uploaded into our website, I actually went over each one of these in our caregiving training. So you can always go back, and I went over each one of these in detail as to what exactly each one of them means. So if you're interested, definitely go back and take a look at that caregiving training, and it'll go specifically through each one of them. Many beneficial resources available to foster parents have been denied to kinship caregivers. So our program seeks to bridge that gap, providing kinship caregivers with training, assistance, and support. So that's our main goal, is to be able to provide those resources to you that have not been given to you probably ever.
Trauma-informed care is the foundation of our work. And for the work that we're doing, we actually utilize a curriculum called Traditions of Collaboration and Care. This was created by the Child Welfare League of America. You'll hear me reference it as CWLA. So it stands for Child Welfare League of America. The lens that we use when we're thinking of our families, when we're working with our families, is through a trauma-informed, strength-based, empowering, and paying respect for grief. The curriculum that we have has some guiding principles. And this was created by CWLA. Now, the next few slides are going to be a little wordy, and I apologize, but I would really just like to share these principles with you, because I think it helps for you as caregivers to really know where our training came from and really what we're focusing on. So a big thing for us is respecting history and tradition of families helping each other, aligning with the tenets of family preservation, supporting children's development, including cultural identity, gender identity, and sexual orientation, valuing family roles and relationships, recognizing that loss is an expected part of life, and that kinship caregivers and the staff who collaborate with them must have the ability, resources, and willingness to understand loss, cope with it, and support others, especially children, with their losses. Having the skills for trauma-informed parenting, which requires that kinship caregivers and child welfare staff understand the impact of trauma on development of children and the factors that promote resilience in children. Collaborating, because the needs of children and families who have experienced the trauma of physical abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, substance use, family violence, poverty, racism, may require more than a kinship family can provide. Committing to self-care in order to provide trauma-informed care for children. Acquiring skills in the 9 essential competencies of trauma-informed parenting, including being able to take specific actions to help children feel safe, understand and modify difficult behaviors, and understand and manage overwhelming emotions. Providing practical information, preferably in support groups instead of training typically offered to prospective and current foster and adoptive parents. Recognizing that all families have strengths and positive change is promoted when families are valued, needs are identified, and there is a collaborative approach to building on strengths to meet the needs. Understanding that culturally competent strengths and needs assessments are essential when working directly with families or when developing and implementing policies and programs to support them. Recognizing that kinship caregivers are an asset to their communities. So when we think of the children that are coming into your care, we kind of see them as a jigsaw puzzle. There are so many different factors that are playing into their behaviors, and we really want to respect all of the different factors that come together for your child. So some things we might look at is their chronological age, what their appearance looks like, their emotional age. Now, emotional age can be a little bit different from chronological age. We've seen some children where they might be 7 years old, but based on their life circumstances prior to coming into your care, they might have had more responsibility than a 7-year-old. So maybe emotionally, maybe they're more of a 10-year-old. Maybe they're actually having to take care of siblings and be more responsible than a normal 7-year-old. We also look at their social age. Are they hanging out with age-appropriate peers? Are they doing things within their normal age range, ages and stages, or are they a little more advanced? The example I gave where maybe that 7-year-old has more responsibility than a typical 7-year-old because they're helping to care for maybe younger children in the home. Their social age might also be a little bit higher than their actual chronological age. We also bring into account gender identity, sexual orientation. School age, another place where we see the shift where depending on what the circumstances the children were going through, even if they are 7, maybe they are not as up to speed as other 7-year-olds because maybe they moved around a lot prior to coming to your care. So maybe they're actually reading at a kindergarten level versus like a 2nd grade. We also look at ethnic match. Do the customs, values, and traditions of the child match the customs, values, and traditions of your home? We also look at life experiences and cognitive age. So when we're looking at children, we're not just looking at a behavior and saying, they're acting out because they're bad. For example, we're looking at all these different factors and we're saying, wow, look at what this child has gone through, having experienced so much trauma in their life, in their early life. And look at how resilient they are coming to us now. So we also look at the different dimensions of parenting, really finding that right balance between nurturing and structure, which is what we see here, and kind of thinking with our caregivers, which image really represents their caregiving style. To the left, we see the nurturer who's planting and growing, and to the right, we see that structure, somebody who's fixing things. Are you one or the other? Are you a combination of both? So that leads us to our kinship care outcomes. The safety, well-being, and permanence for the children is our utmost goal and focus in our work. So what is fostering family? You're all here. You all got our email in some fashion, or somebody provided you a link to our training. So fostering family, which is a program at Southwest Family Guidance Center and Institute, we partnered with CYFD as a relative success center, which means that we are a hub. And if this is a nationwide grant that we've received, and you'll see as a hub, we are helping to connect our kinship caregivers to resources. So we provide and facilitate services for kin caregivers and the children in their care. We help navigate other systems such as legal, financial, school, etc. Who qualifies for services? Any relative, godparent, member of a child's tribe or clan, or an adult with a significant bond, which we call fictive kin, who are raising the youth because the biological parents are unable or unwilling to do so. Legal guardianship does not have to be established to be part of our program. So what's the process like? The client will complete a request for services, we'll do an assessment of needs, and then a community support worker will be assigned to our caregivers. We'll also do referrals for any professional services. We provide ongoing check-ins and, again, like following up on services. All these services are provided without charge. So what can families expect? Again, the assessment of needs of the family and services they may be eligible to receive. We'll help get you some information and resource referrals for local, state, and national services. We do a lot of education, such as this virtual training related to kinship care. We'll help with referrals to complete guardianship packets, school registration, and medical services. So we actually are partnered with 4 legal partners. So I know the majority of our caregivers seem to have a need for legal services. So we can actually help get you a referral for those. So collaboration with legal service providers looks at ongoing guardianship or custody orders, child-parent visitation, public benefits and financial matters, assistance with negotiations. Aside from this, we also help with housing, culturally appropriate services for immigrant caregivers as well. We'll do help with mental health referrals. So the therapeutic services include like behavioral management services, case management, peer support services, and then individual and family therapy.
So talking about our support groups, we do offer our support groups every first Wednesday and every third Wednesday of the month from 6 to 7. And so the contact information for that next for the English peer support group, and this is statewide and it is virtually. The contact person would be Jesse Ortega, and the email address is located there. If you guys are interested, definitely reach out to him. It's just a nice place where you can go and connect with other families that are maybe going through a similar situation that you are. And so it's a place where you can go, vent with no judgment, just being able to support each other and give each other some feedback, some advice, just that other ear to be able to listen to you if you just need a vent. It's always nice to have that. So it's there, it's available to you guys. Like I said, the English peer support group is every first Wednesday and every third Wednesday from 6 to 7.
Can I hop in real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
And also too, sorry to interrupt itself.
No, it's okay.
Our peer support groups are they're open support groups. So you don't have to go to all of them. If you can only make one every month or every other month, that's totally fine. They're just there for you when you would like to attend.
With that being said too, so we don't only offer it in English, but we also offer it in Spanish. So I'm actually the contact person for the Spanish one. If you are interested in the Spanish one or know someone that would benefit from the Spanish support group, definitely send them my way. We currently are not running the Spanish support group, but we do have a waiting list. So I'm just waiting for people to come so that we can hopefully start one up soon. But yeah, definitely reach out to either Jesse or myself for those support groups. Next. Okay, and then Obviously, you guys are here for the training, and we have ongoing trainings up until May. So they're held every first Tuesday of the month at 6 p.m. So our next training will actually be October 5th, and we're going to be going over grief and loss. November 2nd, we'll be going over shame. December 2nd, we'll be doing trauma and resiliency part 2. Part 1 can be found in the first set of trainings that we completed. And like I mentioned, we upload all our recordings of our trainings. So you can always go back into our website, and I'll go over that here in a little bit of where you can find those videos. January 4th, we'll be going over nutrition, just kind of helping you guys out with, what would be good nutrition for the children that you're caring for. February 1st will be legal rights for kinship guardians. March 1st, domestic violence. April 5th, resources for immigrant and minority families. And May 3rd will be substance abuse in the family. So those are just some upcoming trainings, so that way you guys can put them in your calendars. And just kind of like what Robin said with the support groups, you don't have to attend every single one of them. If you're interested in one particular topic, but not on the others, just attend that one if you want to, and then you don't have to attend the other ones. It's just optional, whatever you feel would be beneficial to you guys. Next. Okay, and then we have included our website, fosteringfamily.com. This is where you can find all our resources, all the information that you need about our program. It can be found there. If you need additional information, you can also find information about the support groups, the trainings, recordings of the trainings on there, and additional resources. If you're in need of something in particular, take a look at the website, and you might find something that you might benefit from. So it's always nice to go in there. There's a lot of information on there. So please go into our website.